Greetings, Patrick here. Welcome to the two cheetah shows. That's right. There's two cheetahs you're looking at right there. You got the Fast and Furious cheetah, Paladin, and then you have Lazy Cheetah. Oh my God, this has been an interview that's been asked for. Of all the people I've had people come up to me and ask to interview as far as YouTubers go. Me interviewing you has been the number one requested interview. I get asked all the time, when are you going to interview? When are you going to interview Lazy Cheetah? When are you going to interview Lazy Cheetah? Because I love the fact, the idea that you call yourself Lazy Cheetah, and there's no such thing as a lazy cheetah, and people just they just think that's the funniest thing. Uh, it is sort of funny, but I can tell you firsthand that there's nothing lazy about this cheetah. Um, you are a fine artist.
Thank
I've seen your creative side. You make some amazing art, uh, beautiful pieces, and including
thank you.
cheetahs. So
Appreciate that.
yeah, it's really fun. I really appreciate artists such as yourself, Angela from Morbid Heart Designs. I know that there's more artists that will go. I think this happens more on Twitch than it does here on YouTube. Though I've had artists do this. I had Diana, Artfully Blind, by Diana. I know that she has come onto the show, and she's painted on the show. We've had Angela do some painting while on the show. It's amazing. I really enjoy watching it. Um, Going to the art museums was one of the fun things that me and my wife used to do a lot of. We went to art galleries in Chicago, Detroit, Washington D.C., Toledo, anywhere where there was a art gallery, we went there. Toronto, Niagara Falls. We went to art galleries, and we went to art shows, the street
Cool.
fair. Yeah, it's a. I think art is just so critically important, more important today than probably ever in our nation's history, because art is a creative. It's a creative expression. It's a freedom of speech expression, I know we talked about this beforehand, but I'm just going to put it out here. But in today's political climate, art as we know it is being threatened,
Yeah.
because art, because writing a book is an art.
Yep.
Uh, and when you're starting to see books becoming banned and becoming burned, uh, how soon will that not go to art, expressive art such as yourselves? Imagine going up there and trying to draw the Mona Lisa. Their teachers have lost their jobs for showing them the Mona Lisa or
Yeah.
the statue of David. They've lost their jobs for showing art. Isn't that
It's
mind blowing to you?
yeah, it's kind of it's interesting to think about of how we've evolved from where our art comes from and what styles of art that we have, today. That some forms of it back in the day could have been burnt, like thrown away and discarded and stuff like that. Like a lot of people fail to see that like there's way more art that has created like throughout history that's like that we don't see today. I
No,
think that has to do with a lot of like the way that like just countries are ran. People refuse to see certain art in a certain sense. They see
it,
it more as threatening than art. You know what I mean?
right. Going to art museums and going to street fairs and seeing street art, and or going to a bookstore, or going to a poetry reading or whatnot. I mean, those are incredibly enriching experiences, and they help shape human beings, into more well-rounded and more free thinking,
Yeah,
more, and dare I say it, because really what it is, it's more liberal thinking. You go to an art gallery and you can see the possibilities.
yeah,
You go because you see the Renaissance, you see the modern art, you see the Cubist, you see all those different possibilities, and it opens your mind. It forces it open to comprehend. And when you don't get that, when you just sit there and just get to play video games all day, or
Yeah.
or watch TV or or whatnot, you lose all that. And I think your brain, I think it does affect your brain. It affects how the behavior, your social behavior. I think it affects it. Greetings, Professor. How are you? So I appreciate when there's artists such as yourself that will not only create, but they'll also share their talent, to get out there and to express themselves because you're championing those who may not have that opportunity.
Yeah.
And it's a heavy responsibility. When you paint, do you feel that? Do you feel that a little bit when you sit there, or is it just
Yeah.
something that doesn't cross your mind until it's brought up?
I have usually it depends on my mood. Like as you can see, like I do like smoke and stuff and drink and like I think that for a lot of artists it's really the temperament of what they're feeling at the time of what they're putting on the canvas. So like me, like I have like a lot of like night terrors and like nightmares and stuff. Just a lot of horror-esque stuff that it like tends to stick in my mind and like there's been a few different like huge pieces of paintings that I've done that I've had dreams about, and then I had to wake up and immediately I wanted to like not forget about it. So I'd start like trying to paint it, and like have like different visualizations of like horror struck undead. Death seems to be like in my dreams a lot. So I see bones and skulls a lot. And so I just correlate a lot of that stuff. I like to show people kind of like the horror in the mind, you know what I mean? Or just what I'm thinking of. So that's usually where a lot of my darker stuff comes from. The more animalistic stuff is just kind of more my hobby. I like to see,
I mean,
but
cheetahs are pretty mellow. I mean,
yeah,
they're, I, they're not exactly, the big cats. They're probably the ones that, that like to, because they're full of energy right off the bat. Because I have a cheetah, and so I can tell you this: he's insanely busy for like 10-15 minutes. I mean, romping, rolling up and down the stairs, zoomies, what have you. But for the next hour and 45 minutes, he's chilling. I won't say he's being lazy because there's no such thing as a lazy cheetah. But he's a chill cheetah. Hey Sarah, how are you? Can you see the chat okay?
me.
Yeah. Can you see the chat?
Let me see. No, I can't see it through the private and the comments up here in the streamer. I can't see anything.
Hit comments. You should be able to see it.
Let me see. Okay, yeah, there we go.
Okay. And then there is Sarah is here with us, watching the show. Appreciate you being here. Thank you guys coming in. Yeah, we're off a little early. Me and Cheetah have been kicking in the back in the basement, talking while the show before our start time. So I'm gonna go ahead and catch up with our calendar first, before we get into the interview proper. Uh, everybody, what did I tell you? See, everybody wants to come by and see the cheetahs talk. Hey, Echo, there's the bat, out of the garden from the house.
Yeah.
Cheetahs everywhere. What did the professor say? The professor said, a cheetah interviewing a cheetah, cheetahception. Yeah, I told you how this was gonna go. That's right, cheetahs everywhere. If you look up your right, if you look on your screen on the upper right hand, I think it's, or maybe upper left
Yeah.
hand, you see the little cheetah on top of the. You see that cheetah?
Yeah.
Okay, that's Paladin right there. Let's see. I see Majora's Mask in the back. Is Cheetah a fan of Legend of Zelda? Isn't that a video? Isn't that a
Yeah,
video game? Yeah.
definitely am.
Yeah, yeah. You're a big gaming fan, right?
Yeah, I've been gaming since I was really young. I've just always been into it.
Well, what was your first game?
I'd say the first game that I ever started playing that I was able to own was off of a Super Nintendo, and it was Super Metroid. That was like the
Super
first game that me and my brother would have to like fight over. Like, so
um,
it's only like a one-player game, but we'd fight over it to see who'd be playing.
like whoever got the highest round would be able to stay onto the controller.
Yeah, or just my brother was like more better at it. I was like younger at the time, but I'd always want to like argue with, hey, let me start playing. And then since there was multiple files, his would be more further along, but I'd still be watching him kind of learn what to do, you know.
Do you remember the first time that you played your brother and won?
In a game?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, there's a few different video games that I can recall. You ever heard of Pokemon?
Oh yeah.
I remember when we used to have the portable cassettes for the Game Boy. I used to have a Game Boy Color, and his friend used to have one, and like he would steal like our cartridges to like take our Pokemon and copy them and like clone them. And from there, and then like I remember just we were really good, me and my friends, so like we would beat him a lot like in that game, and he was really competitive about it. But yeah, Pokemon is really fun.
Let's see, the professor wants to know what's your favorite Zelda game, and why is it Majora's Mask? What is Majora's Mask?
The Majora's Mask is this thing right here, the purple with the spikes.
Okay.
It's a tribal mask from the game, and it's like the lore of it is that this tribe made it a long time ago, but it caused like for like hexing rituals it would be very too powerful, I guess. So they hid it away, and like so it's like a cursed mask, I guess. But
Okay.
my favorite would be Majora's Mask. Uh, a lot of there's a couple other ones. I think the Phantom Hourglass was all right. I don't know, like not a lot of people like that one. I never got to play a lot of the newest ones that have been coming out, like Breath of the Wild. I haven't got to those yet, but
You
I
know, it's
do like
really
the older ones.
it's really funny. We're playing games. We're talking about brother. I have a half brother who and him and I were competitive too. And it's funny because I learned how to play chess when I was pretty young, and I used to get my ass whipped all the time.
Hmm.
And then finally I started winning. Finally it came to me, and all these people that used to beat me, all of a sudden now I was, all of a sudden now I had evolved. My game had gotten really good, and so I started winning the majority of the games, and I got better than my brother. I got better than he was. I knew I was, but for the life of me, whenever him and I played, man, I struggled against him like it was nobody's business. I
Yeah.
mean, it was just like, why am I making these moves against him when I would not make these moves against, because I got to play a grandmaster. I actually tied a
Yeah.
grand one game. I tied him, and it's like, okay, I tied him, but I go to play my brother and I get my ass whipped.
Hmm.
I don't know what it is. It must be something to do with family. We would sit. I don't know. You try all that much harder, or you just, you know, because he's beaten you in the past, you feel like he's going to beat you in the now, in the now. It's just,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like the sibling rivalry kind of thing, where it's like you kind of know his mentality, you know.
and the thing is, though, that you're better, but you still struggle. It makes me laugh. Um, Hey, Stephen, how are you? How are you? He says, hello, Lazy Cheetah. See,
How you doing,
everybody.
Steven?
Let's see. Great pack for Zelda. It looks like people are loving this. The fact that you're a gamer. Great pick for Zelda's
Game's
game.
really fun. They're addicting.
Uh, he says he had a feeling Cheetah was a person of great taste. Well, that goes with anybody with the name Cheetah in the name.
Thank you. I appreciate
That's
that.
right. That's right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate it
I
too.
like Ocarina of Time too. I did. Echo. I did. That one was really good.
Oh my gosh.
The music is legendary for it.
Do you watch when you put on games? Do you ever before you even play the game? Do you ever just run it through and stop and pause it to look at what they've done as far as art goes? I know it's all AI generated. Uh,
Um, are you talking about just like exploring? Like I love
yeah,
exploring and just looking around, like at the detail, because like as an artist, like I love to look at like forestry detail in the background and like just the time that someone's put into like this like virtual realm to make it look like pleasing to the eye. They're just like aesthetics. Make it look like realistic almost.
yeah, I've seen some of the games that have come out, and they're just absolutely insane.
Hmm.
The detail seems to be more almost movie quality than anything else. And
Yeah.
how much of those games? How much hand drawn art is actually in games today? Is that still practice, or is it all just 100% computer generated?
Most definitely. I know that there's a lot of artists that I was going to college with that were going for digital design and just making like cartoon characters and games and stuff like that. They would have a huge process of a portfolios, just set aside of sketches, and like a lot of them are like pre-drawn sketches of a maybe or maybe not they're going to use it kind of thing, and if it looks goofy or not 3D or not, you know. And like, so I'd see them pull out like a bunch of different stuff and they'd start sketching it along, and they'd have like other sheets of paper that they'd like trace. And then they'd be like, okay, I want it to be like this kind of, you know, and then they would go onto the AutoCAD system and like make it 3D or whatever. And if it didn't look good, they would like change it up a little bit. But definitely there still is like drawing where people still sketch out stuff. I think that's probably the easiest way to get a good idea out there and like erase it really quick, you know. But
It says, yeah, it's, exploring is one reason I prefer something like Final Fantasy IX.
yeah,
Red Dead Redemption 2 has an amazing world art wise.
yep,
Yeah, well, how about that? How about that? Isn't that something else? So I guess a lot of the gamers, what I'm seeing here, a lot of the gamers, they're not there just for the game itself. They're there to look at the art behind it. Um,
yeah,
I guess that's a good thing, right? I mean, it's. I would sit there and tell them I think probably better off going up to a gallery, you know, or a museum per se. But I guess as long as they're, you know, as long as they're looking at some sort of art, I guess that's a good thing, right?
yeah. There
No,
also are some games that have hidden galleries in them too, like where you could go and walk into a game like in the building, and there'll be like just random pictures on the wall. I see that on CS:GO and a lot of other games that I played, to where they put like actual good art pieces on the wall that like you're in a virtual reality, but you can come look at it, you know.
I wonder how many. Well, obviously, I was going to say, I wonder how many people actually do that. But I guess looking at this very tiny handful, I could definitely see that. I think a lot of people do that. That is,
Hmm.
that's really fun. Hey, Spicy, welcome in, Mr. Bones. What's going on?
Hey, what
Man,
up, Bones?
Bones is in the crib. All right. And he's throwing out some connections with Lazy Cheetah. By all means, me and Cheetah were talking about this beforehand, and we're going to need your help tonight, everybody. We really want you to, we're going to really emphasize this. We're going to put his YouTube channel into the chat. But we're really emphasizing the fact we want you guys all to follow him on Instagram. He needs a lot more followers on Instagram. So please, if you're not following Cheetah on Instagram, please do so. He does put out his artwork on there. Some incredible his artwork is on there on Instagram. So if you want to see new pieces or something, maybe because you do sell, right? I mean, you do sell your pieces.
Oh yeah,
So if there is something that you want and you see it on Cheetah's Instagram page, you can contact him and ask for details. And then when you get interviewed here on Eight Questions with, you could have a piece of Cheetah's art behind you, and then we'll be talking about that. See?
appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. Sarah just said she just subscribed to your Instagram page. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I believe that is the right one. I will check.
Let me see. I didn't see it.
Uh,
I didn't see a link get posted up in the
yeah.
StreamYard.
See, Lazy Cheetah Live is, I believe that is the right. I'm trying to
Yeah.
think. Is that the right one?
I have two of them, and one of them I don't use anymore, but the other one should be Obvious Cheetah is another one.
Okay, obvious Cheetah. Because I'm looking at Lazy Cheetah Live, and I'll tell you when's the last time he posted on here. That would have been not that far long ago, June 20th.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. You
I
could
think
definitely.
that one's my active one. I still use that one. There was one that I had started like, and I messed it up. I think I don't know, but I did put some stuff on that, but I don't use that one anymore.
Okay, because you have 42 posts and 9 followers and 11 following. So, but
Yep,
the art
sounds
itself,
about right.
yeah. Well, you know what? Oh man, it's so pretty. Look at some of it. Look at that. That is just gorgeous. Look at. Oh my gosh. There's the picture of the paladin. Man, that's beautiful right there. I gotta show that one off. So check this action out, boys and girls. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Let's see. This is check out this picture right here. Man, that's dope right there. In fact, I'm gonna have to put that up there. I'm gonna have to put that up there. I'm gonna print that, post that on top of the chat. Um, so when did you get out? When did you get your start in art, in drawing and arty? Did I say that? Okay. When did you get your
Um,
start in art? I mean, was it something that came to you as a very young man, or did you grow into it as you got older?
it was more of a family thing because my mom is somewhat of an artist herself. She paints and does and like design stuff, and then my dad was a kind of more of a jail artist where he was really good with pens and pencils and stuff. And he would get paid or he would make trades or deals because he would draw stuff for the other inmates and stuff and paint them and give it to them. And so like I kind of just learned from my whole family. Like my brother's an artist. Uh, the painting in particular came much later in my life. I didn't really even expect to be an acrylic painter. I was more or less more, I was into markers and stuff like that. I would use like different colored black markers, stuff like that to make some cool black and white art. And from there, people just kept telling me to become like a tattoo artist or something. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. And eventually it came down to the line to where I started getting more canvases and like paint and stuff. And they're like, would you ever use this? Would you ever use this? I was like, maybe. And I held on to it. And eventually I got around to like painting one painting. And from there, it just kind of took off. And I don't know. Like I didn't think that like acrylic would be that much sought after for art, you know. But
Right,
apparently people like it. People like acrylic a lot because it's really malleable, and then like when it hardens, it's more like of a plastic, so like you can wipe it down and stuff like
right.
afterwards.
In case someone puts their dirty hands on it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Now, something I never heard before, and I've been around the block a couple of times, and I've heard about jail tattooists, but I've never heard of a jail artist per se. Now is that how is, in the hierarchy of things, how important was art? As your dad was creating it, how important was it in his community at the time?
When I was really young, like I'd probably say I was probably like 7 or 8, and I was watching my dad like draw. Like after he got out of jail, he would show me like he did a lot of the like gangster style, like cholo style like art where he could do like the Aztec stuff with roses and things like that. And he's really good at shading and stuff like that. And I just see his art. And for me, what he told me as a young kid, he was like, hey, if you get good at art, even if you're like, you don't have a job, no, nothing like that. It's like you get good at art, people will want it and they'll buy it. You can
Yeah.
trade and do stuff like that. He's just teaching me at a young age about that. And I was like, And over
It,
the years, like not acrylic painting, but other pieces, like I would do wood carvings, like to where I would actually take wood and I would carve and make cool shapes and things like that, and I'd hand them out to my friends. And some of my friends still have some of my art pieces that are like really old, like I'd say probably like 20 years old almost, you know.
and they still have them. That's a compliment. That's a real
Yeah.
compliment. You know. Um, do you think art is does art really, does it dull the edges off? Because I mean, I grew up I grew up pretty poor, and I was around, I lived in a barrio too, and I saw a lot of art. It seemed like a lot of the art, the young people that were doing art, they would do it until they get to like 18 or 19, and then they just seem to just drop it off. Um, how was it? But you sound like you kept it all the way through. Was there ever? Did you ever? Was there any of your friends that drew with you? I mean, did you guys get together
Oh
and?
yeah.
Okay. Um,
Yeah, I've had a couple different artist friends. I have one friend right now who's married. He's off doing his own thing. He doesn't do that much art anymore, but he used to find like old saw blades from like because we live like around a farming community, and there'd be a lot of leftover like equipment and stuff like that that people are tossing out and scrapping. And so when they would go scrapping, they would collect these saw blades, and he would do these like amazing piece of arts on the saw blade to where you hang it up in the middle still. You could still hang it up, but it would be like an amazing scape, like piece out of like paint. He was good at acrylic art doing that. And he's also really good at doing tattoo. Like I used to work near the tattoo parlor shop, and that's where I got a lot of my tattoos at. and the people there were like a lot really cool. Like there's a lot of really cool like artists there. One of my friends, Chris Olson, he's an exceptional artist. He's really renowned around the town for making people's like very unique style of art. He'll draw it out for them, like whatever they ask for, he'll do it in like such a beautiful manner. He does it so wonderfully. But yeah, I would just hang around them, and like while I was working, we'd swap art. I'd look at other people's art. I loved looking at other people's art. Like even if I didn't have any to show them, like at the time, whatever, I'd be like, hey, can I see some of your art? I'd look at it, and like I don't know, because you can kind of get into somebody's mind. You kind of pick their mind when you see, or like, okay, what were you thinking when you were painting this? Or like, what made you want to paint this? Or like, why? Like some things are silly, some art's kind of silly. So you'd be like, why did you do this? That kind of stuff, And I'd have a lot of friends that were like that, where they had like a lot of, I don't know how to describe it, bizarre art, I guess you could say, bizarre and silly like stuff. And I have one piece that I had over here. Let me see if I can't find it. You guys will probably like this. This is from one of my friends. This was gifted to me by one of my friends, Houston. This is a piece of his art.
That's really cool.
It is Mario snapping the neck of a Koopa, or one of those little Koopas that are like little Goomba.
Mario finally had enough.
Is a good one, and that's a piece that I just have sitting around. But at my old house, I have it taken down. I have a lot of my art taken down and stuff just sitting here, hanging around. But I do have a lot of goofy pieces from a lot of what my friends would do, and they were artists too. And it was like just hanging around. But I think that art really does express the mind. So it's like when you have friends that all do art, like you're saying, who's all like involved in art. I had a lot of friends doing art, completely different ranges, a lot of artists, because I also played music and stuff. So I had a lot of different like musicians and stuff wanted to, hey man, join our band, do this, that. And I was like, oh man, I can't get into a band. I was never really that dedicated. Now, like that I have all the time, like I probably could, but it's just when I was younger, I wasn't really that much into it, like, so it's like how people start, like mine kind of gradually, mine kind of gradually progressed into becoming an artist. So it was kind of weird, but it was like, it's always been around me everywhere. Like all the art, like I love like looking at other people's art and stuff. Nice hidden Leaf Village hat. Yeah. So it's also got Naruto on it.
Yeah, I guess you're a Naruto fan.
Yeah. Right. Down with board.
But notice no Dragon Ball Z. Thank God.
I love Dragon Ball Z. I love it.
Oh my God, that'll be it. Well, now we'll get Casey in here any minute now. Because he'll be listening, and then he'll hear that, and he'll run in through the door. Let's see. Make him play. Make him play. I hope you. Do you play?
Oh, I hope you chose. Oh yeah, that one song.
Jimmy. Let's see. Jimmy Joe mentions that John Lennon from the Beatles had great artwork. Let me ask you a slightly interesting question here. I think it's slightly more interesting. It will, coming from you and I both came from some of those same places. But what's your idea of people who paint on the outside, graffiti artists?
I think that's awesome. I think graffiti, I've seen a lot of really cool graffiti artists. I have a few friends that do graffiti. My homie Dacone does a lot of graffiti art, and he does like blacklight art with graffiti, but he drew like a cheetah thing for me that was like really cool, like yellow and orange. That was a graffiti. He's supposed to come and give it to me when I finish his painting. We were gonna swap art, but I kind of like it around you. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you.
As far as graffiti art goes, I mean, what's your definition of graffiti art? I mean, what I mean, is it people who paint on the side of trains? Are those artists to you, or are they vandals?
I'd say a little bit of both, but I mean, they're art. It's art. I like it because it's really colorful, and it brings back a lot of the like kind of 90s, 80s retro style art. What kind of started it, like the kind of graffiti that you'll see downtown or something underneath a bridge. Like there is some pretty good artists out there that could be putting their talents on canvases like that. Like I think a lot of the graffiti could be on a canvas with just a white canvas and then a graffiti. There's
Yeah.
something, and that would sell for really good art. I think that they just need to market themselves differently other than vandalizing things. Even though some are pretty good, some artists that do, they do it for like more political reasons or other types of like imagination, where they see a piece of art or they see a corner or something. They're like, this would be really interesting to put this piece here, and then it would make people think, by seeing and witnessing certain stuff.
Because we've seen the decline of art in schools. Like schools have suffered. Music departments are being closed. Art classes are being closed. But yeah, some of these schools, like in Texas or Florida or Georgia, they could go and spend millions of dollars on a fucking football stadium, high school football stadium, but they can't fund the arts. Um, to me, it's like, do you feel a lot of these young people when they go out there and they do the graffiti? Do you feel like they're just expressing themselves? Is it more of an expressing themselves because they have no outlet, or is it just their idea of saying, I'm here, I'm an individual, here I am, because they don't really normally get that attention in their daily lives? Is this their way of expressing it, of who they are?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say that it's a form of also of rebellion in a sense, because they know that it's something that they're not supposed to be doing. If they're doing it on something that's like public property or whatever, and you know that like they'll get in trouble if they get caught doing it. I think that it's a little bit of risk and a little bit of happiness too, because in order to do something like that and like put up your sign or your graffiti, a lot of people are going to be walking by that, and looking at it, and you're going to see it like every other day when you go by it, and you're going to have a smile on your face if it's still up there.
Yeah, I guess I see it both ways. I mean, I just feel like, I've seen some amazing art and some, graffiti. Unfortunately, the most of the stuff, and it's out there. It's just, it has to be out there. But a lot of it has to do with gang banging. A lot of the times you see all the gang signs, and it's just like, man, it's just like, why does it have to be that? Why couldn't it be a, drawing of a Dragon Ball Z character? I'm more okay with something like that more than I see people tagging. Tagging to me is,
Yeah,
that's a vandal to me. Someone who gets out there and paints a drawing of a, like a Mario Brothers. If that was on a wall, if that was on a train, the Mario and the turtle, it's me, maybe I'm showing my age here a little bit. I really wouldn't give a rat's ass about that, other than it's pretty dope. But it's
yeah,
when people actually use art for destructive purposes, I think it comes a little bit sad, and I
yeah.
think it hurts. I think it hurts everybody. Um, have you have you been outside watching your friends do that at night? Because I know that you would never consider grabbing a spray can.
No, no. When I was younger, I'd say when I was in like high school and stuff like that, middle school, that's when you'd see me and my friends going out and like TPing things. And like, I think most kids do that though.
Hmm.
But like as I got older, I kind of got the respect of stuff, just having things around in my like town and stuff and having respect for it being there. And then as I got older, I would see other kids vandalize and do stuff, and I'd be like, man, I was kind of like that. And now I see why like people didn't like it. I'd see why like a lot of the adults and other people, they'd sit there and they'd be like shaking their heads, man.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I mean, it's really like it comes down to our own society that brings us, to the verge of collapse. It's like the things
Yeah,
that we're taught.
you just want to go up to the guy, and you want to see it, and you go like, man, I'm all for you for creating. I really am. I have no problem creating. But gosh, if you're gonna do this, why don't you do this on the side of your house?
Yeah,
Go to the house, you're out and draw. And here's the cool thing about it is, you could go do your graffiti on the side of the house, repaint it, and then do it again. If that's something you want to do, as long as you're the homeowner, you can do that. No one's going to give you shit for it. Um,
yeah,
that's the only thing I would say. But I also think too, I do think it's a lack of resources, in schools. When you're sitting there and you're seeing people trying to raise money for the arts, at the same time you got, schools are raking in millions of dollars, flying their kids all across the country playing high school football on ESPN. I think our priorities need to be changed. Art needs to be art is now, it's to me it's almost like suppressed. Every time there's no budget for art, or art teacher gets laid off, it's a suppression of expression.
Yeah.
Um, all right, so as a teenager, you started cutting your teeth. Um, was there anybody that you looked up to? Was there anybody that showed you the way on working with different materials? Because you are a mixed media artist, right? That's how you can.
Yeah.
So, explain to the folks in the chat about what mixed media is.
Mixed media artist is you use different formats to get your art out there, and you're either a musician or an artist. You could be making multiple different styles of art. A lot of people do it through AutoCAD. You could do it through like a guitar, piano. Like mixed media to me means that like you're pretty much out there. Like I'm not that like I stream on multiple different platforms, you know, and I go into chat rooms and podcasts. So it's like I try to get out there as much as possible, but it depends. It really depends, you know.
Um, as far as that goes, I mean, was there anybody who mentored you when you were younger, other than your father?
Um, when I went to Tushi school, I went out to lived out in Tushi. I did have a teacher there to where she was an excellent artist herself, but she was our art teacher, and she kind of showed me the aspects of how to do shading, mixing, and stuff like that. And it's like to where my art normally would be really colorful, really bizarre, like kind of like this kind of stuff right here. Let me show you. Ugh. My art would be like mostly like this, and it'd just be random, and it would have no direction. You know what I mean? Like it'd have no direction and just be completely random. And then after taking classes of hers or whatever, she would show me how to draw like figures, things like that, and then how to shade it better and stuff like that. And because I was never really too into that, like me and my family like all had different styles of art, and like mine was just all over the place. Like I didn't have any real grounding from the beginning. So it did take me a little bit of time to kind of get to like drawing like cats and stuff like that and like things like that and make it look more realistic. And I think everyone starts somewhere, you know, and like other people start really well, you know, on like art. Like they're really good. I know a few different people that are really good at drawing people and like hands and faces. It's
Right.
like me, I'm just really good at drawing monsters or like animals, beasts, things like that, spiders. I think I'm better at drawing like spooky things, I guess. Like, I don't know.
Well, you like drawing cheetahs too, though.
Yeah,
That
definitely.
cheetah, that
That's a
cheetah you
predator.
had.
It's a predator animal. It's a predator animal.
Hell yes, it is. I can tell you that right now. I know that. I know you're right about that. Don't get between the cheetah and his bag of temptations. I'm telling you. Uh, yeah. Uh, uh,
I do commissions also for who's
oh,
asking.
okay. So if people had a picture that they wanted drawn, they could go ahead and send it to you, and you would draw what they wanted.
Yeah, I could copy. I'm good at copy painting stuff.
That's cool. That's cool.
It's
Uh,
very rarely that I have to do that though. Like most people would just tell me to do what I think, and I just do random stuff, and they like it. And they seem to like it. But I can copy stuff if people choose and they want something specific. I can like draw it pretty well and paint it pretty well with acrylic, especially. So
see, oh yeah. Thanks, Jamie. I know he means well. Yeah. I think he loves horror movies. Charmello, he loves horror movies, but I think sometimes when we do an interview, sometimes I think he gets a little he doesn't yeah he gets like Hellraiser. Okay, we can talk about drawing Pinhead. Um, that's an interesting question. Have you ever drawn? Because a lot of the folks that are watching are in the horror community, such as myself. And you say you draw monsters. Um, do you draw like do you draw all original pieces, or do you sometimes do you ever just find yourself just drawing like a Leatherface or a Freddy Krueger, or is that something that you just don't do? You just try to do original stuff.
I remember watching a lot of those Nightmare on Elm Street and stuff like that. Yeah, like I remember watching a lot of those movies, and back in the day, I thought they were just really cool. Like I didn't find them as scary.
Uh,
Like nowadays, I don't know. I haven't really found like a horror movie that's really scary. That I find them creative and cool and fun, and with all the like new stuff that they got going on, it's pretty cool. Um, I don't know. No, like everything that I draw, that becomes monster wise or like undead, like morbid type stuff like that, it's just really off the top of my head, or just like maybe buried in my subconscious. I don't know, but like I draw a lot of different like dark. Like I could show you a few different like creations of mine that just
Sure.
don't make any sense really. They're just monsters, but they're also like a unique idea, I guess. Like I don't know.
Okay. Um, well, let me ask you this: if you want to go get, let me ask you this then. Like you do a lot of live on your live streams. You do a lot of painting. And one of the things anybody's watched a live cheetah, and this is no secret, anybody's gone to watch him work. I noticed that you like to have you smoke a little weed with you when you're drawing. Does
Yeah.
that help open your mind? Does that help keep down sort of like more of the darker stuff? Do you find yourself drawing more lightly when you smoke a little herb?
When I smoke, yeah, definitely. It helps relax me. I feel more irritated when I'm not. That's just like I guess how I am now these days. When I drink a lot, let's say, because I do drink a lot sometimes when I like stream and stuff. I'd say the darkness will slip out more, and then I'll start just going at it, doing like more darker stuff. um, the
What,
weed, the
what, what do
weed
you think?
definitely
What do you
helps
think
me a
the
little
dark
bit.
stuff comes from, Cheetah? I mean,
Mostly my nightmares, mostly because I have night terrors and I have like insomnia. Most like not like really like life threatening insomnia, but I have like issues to where I try not to go to sleep as long as possible sometimes because I know it's going to be like a jump scare or something in my dream.
yeah, I
And like
wouldn't.
I constantly have those dreams to where it feels like I'm falling, and then I wake up and like but just mainly like monster nightmares and like weird cosmic horror weird stuff that I could like rarely explain. Like I could paint you guys some stuff and show you what I mean, but other than that, it's like it's just I don't know what it is mentally. I think it's a thing to when I close my eyes, instead of focusing on my eyes being closed, I'm focusing on the fleshy parts of my eyes and the everything moving around, and you know what I mean. Like I don't know if people think like that, but that's kind of how where my mind is most of the time.
Yeah, but my mind mostly. Yeah. No, I have insomnia too. I don't draw. Probably start though. But
Probably should, yeah.
I feel what you're saying. Um, let's see. Let me catch up with the chat here. Jamie, see, Echo is really pushing for a blind date. I'm just gonna leave that. Echo, Echo's looking for a blind date. Let's see. Jamie mentions acrylics are the way to go. And
Yeah.
Snow is here. Hi, Snow. How are you? We were talking about you
Hey, what up,
earlier.
Snow? Much love.
Uh,
What's up?
uh,
What's up, cute nobody?
that's right. Got something to show Snow here. Yeah.
400 days.
Yep. We did. I did find my copy and I did review it. So I did it for Snow. Did it for Snow. Um. Okay. Let's see. It says, love you, lazy. Lazy called you lazy, but notice that she didn't say cheetah on there. She knows that
Right.
there's no
You don't
such
want to
thing.
confuse us. You don't want to get them confused.
Where did that come from? Before I'll go back for your night terrors, because I'm interested in that.
Lazy cheetah.
Yeah, where did the lazy cheetah come from?
Well, I'm obsessed with cheetahs and like big cats and things like that, and I was always like trying to draw like cheetahs and like monster cheetahs and like just weird random stuff. So like cheetah kind of came after the point when I would game. I'd use it as a gaming name, and it started off as sneaky cheetah because the games that I played were more like dungeon games and stuff like that. So I was like I'd go by the moniker sneaky before I went by lazy.
I'm not sure what's worse. I'm not sure what's worse. I'm thinking there's no such thing as a sneaky cheetah. Tigers are sneaky. Cheetah's a royalty. So lazy lazy cheetah that just kills me. Uh, now are people when you do your art, or when you do your art galleries, when you do your showings or what in your commission work and whatnot, is that how you sign your pieces? Do you sign your pieces with your name or do you sign it with lazy cheetah?
I do it with both. For ones that I send like across the seas, like to other countries and stuff, I have to use my YouTube name also. So
Okay.
I'll mark it both, but I do autograph and I sign it with my real name once I do it, so that people will have it, just so if anything, like they ever want to sell it again, people want to look up who the artist is, they can actually find me really easily. I do it in print, like bold print, and then underneath I do my autograph.
All right. This is what a real cheetah looks like. As you can see, he's not lazy at all. He's fast. He's furious. Now he's watch him jump. Watch him jump.
Kitty.
All right. All right. Uh, so that's good though. So people actually do know you by reputation. Then people refer you. Do you get referrals from other people? Like, like, hey, can you draw this for me? And how long does it usually take for you to draw a commission piece?
In like in my town, I get a lot of referrals. Not so much online. I think I still need to reach out more for people to see me more online, but I do get a lot of referrals in town by like friends and family members that I know. They'll see me and they'll be like, "Hey, can you paint this or draw this?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, man, I just need a canvas and I can get it started." So I do have a lot of pieces that I'm working on that, man, like I said, there's
Yes.
ones that I've had here that I've been working on for almost a year, and they're amazing. Like people, they're already paid for and bought for, and they're amazing, and they're done. And then I have ones that look amazing. People are like, "Are you done yet?" I'm like, "No, man. Like I still got like a couple more months, maybe, of solid work on this one. And then it's complete."
How often are you dedicated to your how often? Because I know with some of the paintings, do people have drawing rooms? I mean, or does everything have to set naturally and organically? I mean, if you paint something, you don't put any heat on it, right? You just put it to the side and listen and let it dry naturally.
Just a fan. I use a fan, so it's like if I want it to dry quickly, since it's acrylic, and like how like acrylic sets or whatever, it's more of a plastic. You want to mix it right away while it's wet, and like as you keep going with it, you want to kind of mix water in with it to keep it, to mix the colors. Otherwise, if you're not, you're setting it aside to let it dry really fast, so that you can start doing other colors without mixing them. So just a fan. I don't use any other type of special lighting like you see people use, like the like ultraviolet lights and stuff like that to let make stuff dry faster. I just use just a fan.
Okay. Now, are you pretty much just like you paint on camera? Does that relax you? Do you feel like you're a better? Do you feel like you're more focused when you paint more by yourself, or do you feel more relaxed knowing that there's an audience watching you?
I feel more happy when people are talking with me and like when I'm painting, because if what usually when I'm painting and I'm not streaming it, I'm in a pretty bad spot, or I'm just like in a morbid spot in my mind where I'm like just really depressed or something that I'm painting. And the good work comes from when you're depressed. Also, I think that
Yeah.
it's your motivation to do it. It doesn't matter what your like emotions are at the time. It's your motivation during that time to create something, because out of all emotion, there's every type of art can come out of it, and like I've seen a lot of different artists that are like, for instance, like Snow. She does wonderful like commissions to where people ask her like, "Hey, can you draw this specifically?" And she's amazing at doing that. And for me, like it's I don't know, I don't get too many people to tell me to draw specific stuff. They just tell me to have at it. They're just like, "Go ham, dude, just draw what you think needs to be on there." And then I draw like a bunch of crazy stuff and they're like, "Yeah, I love it," like, I don't know,
So
just
it's all walked up to you and said, here's $1,000. Draw, paint me $1,000 picture. I don't care what it is. It's up
yeah.
to you. Wow.
Yep.
So you get the freedom and the creativity. I mean, 'cause I can't imagine how it couldn't be very much fun when someone walks up there, like a tattoo artist. They okay, this is what we can do, and people say they hand you their own art, or say, oh, I want you to copy this for me.
Yeah.
I guess there's no, it's like, wow, okay, if that's what you want me just to copy that. I mean,
Yeah.
you can get just anybody to do that, but if
Yeah.
someone says, "Here's $1,000, go ham," as you say. We do you no restrictions? do you feel like you do your better creativity with no restrictions, or do you feel like it's do you like to have it more constrained and fit in a box? I mean, is it better for you to
Hmm.
know? I don't know. Is it better to be controlled than not to? You know,
I'd say being uncontrolled is better because I have a few pieces to where people wanted specific stuff, and the way that my mind goes, like I kind of feel like I'm restricting myself on what I would put in there compared to what they want on there. So like when I look at any of my other art that I've done that I had no restrictions at all, it ends up changing so strange, like ends up being it evolves more, like it evolves more. I feel like, and it becomes more liked by a lot of people. Like the one that I have right here that they want specific stuff. It's taking me more longer to kind of like not mess it up.
right?
Whereas the other ones that I have freedom on, I could mess it up and I could be like, oh, I don't care, and I'll go over it again or something, and it just ends up changing and looking different.
Do you feel like, as far as that goes, do you feel that's one of the reasons why people have a hard time, young people have a hard time getting into the arts when they're younger, is because materials are so expensive? It's sort of
Yeah,
weird. It's sort of weird. Like you would think they would, it'd be better for everybody if if supplies were less expensive to encourage more participation, more than having the materials be so expensive. And then people just they get discouraged by that. Um,
yeah. There's
uh,
also specific types of, for instance, like I can't really get certain types of acrylic paint because there just aren't any available like around my area, or like when I'm trying to order stuff. Uh, I have to mix colors and like make my own colors sometimes because colors won't be there because it's such a small store, like a Hobby Lobby store, like Walmart, anywhere I go to where I look for paint, like and stuff like that. The prices are going up, wood's going up, so it's like the frames that they make for the back of them for the wood, that's going up in price and making them skyrocket and become more. So canvases cost like 16 bucks now just for like a 16 by 20, you know what I mean? Uh,
you know what's funny? You know what's funny too? As far as craft making go, people doing their own art. The one store that I think it just cracks me up about it, when I see that, I see people say, "This is what I created," because they have a lot out of this little store, though I would never recommend it for a serious artist. But Dollar Tree,
yeah.
holy shit! I mean, it's like it's a great introduction. It's like, if someone's gonna just start out in as far as doing art, whether it be painting or any other type, maybe making a basket or maybe repurposing an item or whatnot. That's a great way to start. Encourage people to get it into it. But I think the roadblock happens was when they go ahead and they start getting advanced, such as yourself, and all of a sudden now all the supplies cost, And the thing is, so it's like when you make a mistake, because it does happen,
Yeah.
you just can't run out there and just like, oh yeah, okay, I fucked this up, so I got to go out there and buy another, $50 canvas. How much does a blank canvas cost anyway? I said $50. That's a lot.
I think say the biggest ones, like the ones that I've had, I get two of those, and those are like 25 bucks.
Oh, it's
And
not
then
bad.
like, yeah, it's not too bad. Like the smaller ones, it's probably like 14 for like three of like these size.
So the expense really comes in the brushes and the paint itself, right?
The paint, each one of these little paint things right here costs like $7. And these are like starting to go up in price, and these aren't even that much. These are just, let's see, it's like 118, yeah, milliliters. Dude, it's like it's not a lot at all. I could use one full thing of these on one of these small canvases and like instantly, and that's just like 6 7 bucks down the drain. And that's what cost me the most, is that like I have to constantly keep getting certain colors that aren't there. And like for instance, like you were saying, the Dollar Tree, I've had family members go there and like collect art and paint stuff for me, and they're like, here, I got it all for cheap. And I ended up liking a lot of the paints that they had there, and they actually had okay paints. So you're right on that aspect of going to um like the dollar store, the Dollar Tree, because like they may have some stuff that just isn't available anywhere else in the town.
Isn't that something? I would think that the paint would be really subpar because you get what you pay for. But I
Yeah.
guess you say that well, you would need a lot of it too because it comes in such tiny containers.
Hmm.
But as far as that, as far as touch up goes, I guess that would work. Do people actually do they understand when they commission work from you? You know, when if I said, "Hey, Cheetah, I want you to go ahead and paint Paladin for me," um, when can I expect that? What do you tell people? Do you expect it? Do you give them like I can it might take me
Uh,
up to a year to do your painting, or do you find yourself, or what if they say, well, I know your commission generally is $1,000, but I'm willing to pay you $2,000 to get mine done now. Is there any way possible for you to do something faster, or is it just impossible because of the process to do to,
it's definitely possible. It really depends on who's demanding at the time, because a lot of the people that expect art haven't paid for it yet. They're just waiting for me to finish it. So that's one thing that I like to do is I like for people to be like, hey, is what at what time, like how you're saying, like a timeline. I'd be like, it'd probably take me a while, depending on what kind of art piece. For instance, if you wanted Paladin painted, I would just need a really good picture of them, and then I could sit there and I could probably do it within like a month and have it be cheap. Like have it not have it be like too expensive, since a lot of these other different art pieces that I'm working on that are expensive, that I consider expensive, have taken a lot of materials, and they're like there's just a lot of different stuff put into it, a lot of time put into it. And the bigger it is, like, yeah, I put a little bit into that, but it doesn't really, I don't know, it's not that different really, other than the fact that I need time. I've only had two people that have asked me to do it in a specific time, like base, like, hey, can you get this done in 3 weeks? And I've done it, but I was really rushed. I was like really rushed, and like how I had finished it, they liked it still, but I felt like I could have done more. Like it could have been better for the amount that they paid. Kind of, that's my own personal opinion, even though they liked it, but it was, I don't know.
right? I get that. Um, you mentioned earlier, I caught that earlier when I mean, you feel more comfortable drawing in front of an audience. Um, I think most artists I've talked to that sometimes they do draw things in public, like especially for street fair. They'll set up a canvas and they'll be painting something on the street fair. Probably nothing really truly intricate because they're being pulled away from it, from by different customers or whatnot. But what do you like about drawing in front of people versus drawing in private?
Just my own thoughts. Usually when I have people to chat with while I'm painting, I have thoughts to bounce off of people, and I could sit there and I don't get so into like a depressed mood, I guess. I have people that will joke with me, like Mr. Bones was saying, he'll come in and like aggravate. He'll come in, we'll sit there and we'll bullshit, and like just chat back and forth, and that allows me to kind of like lighten my mood, and I feel better to have someone to talk to. Other than that, I'm like just sitting in my room, usually just like by myself, painting with the
Then this is gonna
thoughts.
be a really this could be a really weird question, but I'll ask it anyway. Do you feel when you paint with more color, it lifts your creativity and your spirit more than when you're drawing with dark colors?
Um, I'd say so. Yeah. I mean, a lot of the more colorful art I've done ends up being really bright, like really bright, wavy, like it pops. It's like in the art world, however people say, like it pops out to the eyes. Or it's like
I,
the more
I'm looking
colorful
at I'm
stuff.
looking at your Instagram page, and I'm noticing there's a lot of color. There's a lot of brightness here. There's not anything I would. There's a couple of pictures that might be considered darker,
Hmm.
but overall, I mean, even the ones that are, yeah, that's pretty dark. But some of the other ones, like I love the warrior, and then the landscape with the different colors, the different hues, purples and greens, yellows, turquoise. I mean, those just to me, I just can't imagine you not being happy when you're creating that. To me, it's just like it looks like you had a lot of fun creating. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, is it hard to stay in that mode? I mean, is it hard to stay there if you keep drawing that? I mean, if you keep working on that, do you think it would help elevate, or do you need that darkness? Do you need those, I dare I say it, night terrors to help your creativity?
It's definitely like it doesn't last long. Like if I'm doing like really happy art stuff, like that's one thing that my mom like constantly demands, and like my other family, my stepmom, like or a lot of my other family members tell me, they're like, you need to start drawing more like
Hmm.
holy stuff, more like nice stuff, whatever. And it's like that's not what I see though. You know what I mean? It's like it's not like um I constantly have a lot of issues in my life, my real life stuff, to where it puts me into like that kind of mood. And for me, like drawing like happy stuff, it comes and goes. It's like honestly, like the darker stuff flows out easier, just because it's like I don't know, it's easier to focus on. You know what I mean? Like you're saying, like if I do the colorful stuff for too long, um, I feel like I'm messing it up because there's no I don't know, it depends. Like when it comes to random stuff, I like messing around with darker colors, like the darker stuff randomly, because if I'm doing the darker stuff randomly, I'm not expecting anything nice to come out of it. You know what I mean? I'm expecting only bad. Like, and if it ends up looking crazy and better than what I expected, then yeah, that's kind of the enjoyment I guess I get out of it.
So if I had him commissioned as the Santa sculpture, oh, I'm thinking out loud here. Just okay. Snow
Times
mentions
close.
Snow mentions we have a senior art thing in high school where we were doing art for public demonstration, but no one came over. So art. I picked up my art and walked through the crowd drawing. The principal asked for it. Then she mentions Lazy has so much talent, he needs watchers to keep him on track, or he just creates 10 paintings in a day. Um, he's gonna be showing some art now, Bones, for sure. You got any cheetah art that you can show?
Um, cheetah art. I have some cat art that I was working
Uh,
on for my
that,
friend of mine, Jay.
that works. Cats rule over everything.
Okay, check this one's really like bizarre because I'm definitely not done with it. Okay, so it's like I want this one to be kind of spooky and have like ghost like feelings to it. Check this out. Ugh.
That's cool.
I
That
wanted it to be a reverse, since I do a lot of this like psychological reverse art.
Mhm.
Cause like when you reverse it, I wanted it to have skulls and stuff like that, like faces that you could see in it.
that would really, you know who would love that picture? I can tell you right now who would love that picture. That's so you, Bones. That's so Bones right there. Bones and I are huge cat guys. We're big cat guys. So are these like cat guardians here? They look like they're facing off. There's a lot of
Um, I was
shenanigans.
wanting them to be spiritual like guardians, but they're also for a friend of mine. He has like these are his cats. He has three of them now, which I wanted to add the third one, but I wanted to add it when I rotate it, where you can't see it until you rotate it, and then you see the third cat. Like that was
Okay,
going to be a cool aspect of that I think he would love.
that would that would have been cool if you could have slipped into a Scottish fold into that mix. But let's see, Bones. Let's see, Jamie wants to know this. V says, V. Let's see. First of all, some guy named Cheetah says cats rule. That's right, Cheetah. They do. Call me V mentions cool art. Agreed. Agreed. Jamie wants to know. She has a
Hello,
question
call
for
me
you.
V.
Uh, she wants to know: do you ever suffer from burnout? And where do you draw most of your inspirations from?
I do suffer from burnout here and there. It really depends on my mood. If I'm feeling like, 'cause I have like a lot of nerve damage in the hands and stuff. So
Mm.
it's like I have like just random needle pains that come along, and that like will really stop me from doing anything. Like I really won't want to do anything. I'll just sit there, like lay in bed, take like
It's a
meds and
carpal
stuff.
tunnel.
It's kind of like carpal tunnel. It's like deterioration of the cartilage around like my hands. So it's like it hurts to even like open them up sometimes. And I'm not sure, like, it's just it comes and goes, but I know it has to do with like my tendons and stuff like that. Because like I went to the doctor many times where they did the electrical shock tests on me and stuff like that. And there's some spots that like I guess don't register, and there are some spots that create a lot of pain. Like where it's like unbearable pain. You know what I mean? Like needle pain, toward like taking a needle and sticking it and going and like moving it around, like kind of pain. Like it sucks. But
Can you still
for the
paint with a brace on? With if you had a brace around your wrist, could you still paint, or is that a little?
usually if I'm in pain, like I'll just be relaxing, and I'm probably not going to want to try to paint at all. I mean, that's probably it stopped me from painting a lot actually. But for the when it comes to inspiration, like my inspiration, dude, is horror movies. Like usually when I'm watching horror movies and I'm not streaming or something, I'll be watching a horror movie. I'll start busting out my my art stuff and I'll start like working while I'm watching. You know, it kind of gives me inspiration because like I see like I love to see other people's like dark creative works of art. You know what I mean? Like Clive Barker is an interesting guy. I love his style that he does for like dark creatures and art and stuff like that. It's definitely a guy. Like when you were asking me earlier if I looked up to anybody, I'd say Clive Barker's art was one thing that really inspired me when I used to read the Aberrat and like the other books. And I'd go through his art and I'd be like, man, this guy's got some like bizarre stuff too, you know, like I can. But it was interesting, you know.
Let's see. Well, let's ask you who are some of your favorite Renaissance artists?
Me,
Mm-hmm.
I really do like the Sacking of Troy. I forget the name of the person that painted that, but I do like a lot of those older style Romanesque ones. And the Sacking of Troy was an interesting one to see because you got to see people getting slain and like buildings getting toppled over and like golden statues being destroyed and stuff like that. And it's just a very interesting painting. I'd say any of the before, you know, like before time, like Romanesque style paintings, whatever, before the Renaissance style, those ones were like probably my favorite. And I can't think of the name of the artist at the time, but um,
I was actually thinking. I was wondering if you're a Pollock fan.
is he the one that does all the hellscapes?
He does. I don't know their hellscapes, but he's the one that he puts the giant canvases on the ground, and then he just throws paint. He threw paint across the canvas, and he would just
Hmm.
basically just use his hands and just like it was weird. It's weird, but I mean, he was almost like manic. He was manic in the painting. And he would just get out there and just like, uh, Snow is sitting there saying postmodern garbage. Uh, wow. Let's see. But honestly, I'm sort of with her on that though. I like his. Like I'm not really like a Warhol fan. I'm not a Warhol fan. I mean he's okay, but I mean he got famous for copying a can of soup, and it's just like I don't really understand. I don't understand how he drew soup, and that's okay. But yeah, like an oversized spirography. You know what though? The reason I mentioned though, Pollock, because
Hey, Steven.
when I saw your other art, and and you saying how you like drawing, it's all over the place. It's frenetic. That
Hmm.
to me, that's the word I would use for Pollock. Is frenetic. I mean, there's no discipline there. It's
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
all just everything is the whole piece is like that. Oh, looked like it dropped for a second there. Huh.
yeah. Uh,
Oh.
okay, here we go. Okay. It comes from the heart. It's weird, but at the same time, yeah, I'm also agree with her. It's a little bit too frenetic for me. Um, that's why I asked you about the Renaissance. Are you more of or do you like a Picasso or Cezanne or any of the Da Vinci, any of the other masters?
I forget the name of the guy, but he is considered really good. He does the hellscapes to where it just shows like his is like really random, like how mine is, to where it'll show just different figures like doing hellish, like devilish things and like morbid things in the background. You can just see it everywhere, all over the canvas. And I forget his name. He does a lot of hellscapes. I also like Dr. Seuss's dark art. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Dr. Seuss's really dark art. His dark art's really interesting too for being cartoonish but really morbid and like strange. One of the ones I liked was his Infinity Cat one, to where it's just a bunch of cats, and it was like you could see it and it would go infinity, and it was in like a loop or whatever, and it was like crazy looking. But
That's
I've
that's
seen it. Yeah, you seen that one? Yeah, that one was amazing. I think that those are the type of style of art that I like. Is just like either hellscapes, like really, because the Renaissance ones are amazing, and it takes a lot of time and attention to detail to sit there and make all the people in the background and just the shading and stuff like that. And I think that the hellscape ones were some of the craziest ones that I'd seen. What's his name? I'd have to look him up. I forgot what it was, but it's like he has like a certain style.
I would like to see the Affinity Cat myself. That would be, to me, that sounds like the perfect picture. Let's see. Let's see. Hi, Stephen. How are you? Yes. It's our guest is Lazy Cheetah, even though we just called him Cheetah today. No
Hey,
lazy. Uh, let's see. Mr. Bone says, Pat, you might want to pencil in Alicia next. She does the same stuff as Lazy.
oh yeah, Alicia would be interesting. I think you would like interviewing her. She'd be cool.
I've been trying to get more artists to come on here. I've had quite a few on here to talk about their techniques, and I'm fascinated by it. I can't paint worth a shit. I'm doing good if I can connect the dots between one and two, unless that has to be paint. But I do appreciate it. I do appreciate the what goes into it. I'm more of a classical fan. I'm not really more of a modern art fan. I mean, there's pieces of modern art I like very much. But I mean, I've been to a lot of museums, and I'm sitting there looking at like some of the stuff they call art, and
Yeah,
art is the most subjective of all creativity. I don't
yeah,
think there's anything else that's more decisive than art itself. And as far as painting or drawing, I think it's the most decisive and the most subjective. Um, because you and I could be looking at the same piece and not see the same thing,
exactly.
unless it was
Uh,
palette. Unless it was palette, and then that's it's all good.
well, like,
Uh,
see, that's one of the main things that I like about some of the pieces that I've sold already. I have a lot of these um, reversible art, is what I like to call it. Reversible art. I've seen a lot of. There's only a few other artists that I've seen online that even attempt to do it upside down, or they'll do art like upside down and reverse it. But I know that it's a form of ancient sorcery, kind of, to create an image, and it's been known since like in the ancient time. Like when you have like a conscious and a subconscious mind, so when you see images, your subconscious mind is picking up the reversed images and stuff without you noticing it, and it puts it in your head. So it's like the power. What they used to say back in the day was like your power over it is to look at something from every angle, to see all the images, so that it doesn't have any control over your subconscious.
right.
Which it sounds crazy. I know that sounds crazy, but
Subliminal,
it's true.
yeah, subliminal messaging, almost
Yeah,
like.
exactly. That's what it's called. Subliminal messaging. It's like a ancient form of like sorcery, is what the eye sorcery is what they call it back in the day, whatever. But it's like that's one thing that like made me interested about making like demons and stuff and reversing them, and then having angels on the opposite side or something. Having it be
Right.
like really cool like that.
That makes total sense. Let's see. Snow says she get is he first she says Rick Hunter. I must be a contemporary.
Artist, yeah.
Yeah. What contemporary artists today do you like? Not necessarily inspire you. I do artists today inspire you, or are you past that?
There are a few artists that inspire me. One in particular, I just am curious about them, who they are, and I'm pretty sure it's just everyone else is Banksy. No one knows who the hell he is, or who, if it's a he or a she. So everyone wants to know, who it is. Like that's kind of one of the main people I'm interested in, just to find out who they are, because they have such controversial art. Some of the
Yeah.
stuff that they've done already.
Is the art itself controversial, or the fact is he more the sum of a mystery than he is an artist? I mean, I've seen his art, but I've seen
And
better.
it's his art. It seems pretty. I'm not going to say mediocre. I'm just going to say it seems like I've seen a few different people that have similar art to that, and I
Yeah,
don't want to say that they're
exactly what I
him,
was
but I
gonna
want
say.
to,
I think that's what makes him stand out, because I've seen his art is very pedestrian, and to me, again, it's subjective. It's subjective. I've seen some of his pieces, and it's cool, but it's nothing that I would just jump up and down about. I think
yeah,
it's more the fact that he's able to get it's the mystery about who he is, that makes because you know how that goes, right, Cheetah? Because think about this again. This is a field that all it takes is just one person writing one thing about your art, and next thing you know, everybody wants to have a Lazy Cheetah print because
Yeah.
this one person who said it says this eye's amazing. He's the best thing since Banksy. Everybody would be all over your art now because of one person.
Yeah.
And to me, it's art. People who I don't know the art crowd, the art community, the art fandom. They're. I mean, I don't want to insult anybody, but holy shit, they seem more like lemmings than anything else. I mean, as soon as they get a hold of a trend, they just run off the cliff with it. A good for an artist. I mean, hell, if somebody sat there and said, "Yeah, you guys need to get a Lazy Cheetah, you need to own his cheetah print. He's got, he draws cheetahs better than anybody. You need to get one of these inside your house," and that costs 10,000 people to sit there and say, "I want a piece of of the action." I'm all about that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's almost like they're being told what to like. Like we're being told that Banksy is a great artist, but is he really? Is he really? I mean,
Exactly, exactly. I mean, it's like you were saying that art is the most like it's the most like controversial like style of like subjective thinking for like when it comes to creativity and stuff. So like when people sit there and they're like, okay, well, we don't know who this guy is, it makes it more interesting. Like it's more intriguing for people to want to like look at their art and be like, yeah, his art's actually okay. And no one knows who he is. Oh, that makes it way more like, crazier because it was if we knew who he was and with the art that they have, it probably wouldn't sell for that much. And then that's one thing about art is that art is so crazy is that like I see people sit there and they'll have like these really big canvases and they'll just paint one line and sell it for millions of dollars.
isn't that
And to
isn't
me,
that
in my mind, I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, I'm like, these guys are money laundering right in front of us, like right in front of our eyes. You know what I mean? It's like I wish I could just paint like a line and get $1 million. You know what I mean? Like anybody wishes they could do that, but only certain people do, which is strange. I don't know, and they get away with it.
okay? So here we go. We're getting some good conversation in the chat here. Let's dig into it here. Let's see. Rick Hunter. When I saw that Rick Hunter, the first thing I thought of was Robotech. I don't know where that came from. It just
Yeah. No, I
did
I
you
like Banksy.
see,
Jamie, I like Banksy. Like I like his style, how controversial his art is. The same with the the one that went through the shredder kind of stuff. Like I think it's amazing art, but I hate how the like he donates like okay, so this is what I didn't like about a lot of the museums and the art places that like try to sell art and stuff where they collect art from famous people. Banksy like donated a piece of art. Okay, like a really like it was actually an okay piece of art. I liked it. It was like a girl holding like a balloon, but the balloon was like a heart and it was like spray painted or whatever. But it was like it was grinded. Like he had this like machine put into the canvas to where it's like he donated it to this museum and he's like, hey, don't sell this. And they're like, yeah, we won't sell it. And then lo and behold, the people that own the museum are like, oh, now we're selling it for like millions of dollars. And like once he knew that, he like pressed the button and it took the image and it grinded it and like shredded the actual painting
oh
right
wow.
before everyone's eyes while they're trying to buy it. And that's what makes Banksy like amazing is that he like sets up this kind of shit, beforehand. Like he knew it was going to happen. That was the funny part about it is that he's like, watch, he's going to donate this really nice piece of art for free and they're going to try to make money off of it. And that's
I tell you
exactly
one
what
thing. I tell you one thing that it's a very unwelcome trend, and one that just it's one that I can tell you right now. If I saw it happen in front of me, there'd be an ass being beaten, and that is people who are trying to sabotage art for their cause. They go around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if I saw you do that in front of me, I would beat you silly. I just couldn't. I just makes me mad. Makes me mad. It's like it's not the artist that you're. Why are you raging against the artist?
Yeah.
He didn't do anything at all to you. He has nothing to do with your cause or whatever. For you to go there and sabotage his painting or the museum's artwork, that's an act of terrorism, if you ask me.
Yep.
I mean, you can't. I mean, that's just absolutely heinous.
You're
Uh,
talking about the can of soup where they were throwing cans of soup all
oh
over the art and stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That would never
Yeah.
float for me. If I saw that, I just yeah. It wouldn't be just to grab somebody and hold them. It'd be like a throw, because who the hell do you think you are to do something like that? I mean, art is to help bind us together. It's supposed to be a binding agent. Even though we might see things differently, but in the bigger context, art should be drawing us together. There's nothing more fun to sit there and watch and create art. I think it's the reason why your channel was really popular in that sense. It's like people like to come and they like to watch you work, and they relax and they can talk with their friends and they can see that. And I think
Yeah.
it's very beneficial. It's helpful. It's therapeutical. And then have someone come by afterwards, and because they're having a bad day, they're gonna throw soup on your art. That just pisses me off.
Yeah.
Snell says that she bought two paintings from Cheetah, and when I put them together
Yep.
side by side before framing, they connected perfectly.
Yeah. She has 3 more paintings on the way too. Check these 2 out. What I got right here.
Thank you guys all for coming in today. I hope you guys are enjoying the show tonight with our good friend Lazy Cheetah. This has been a really, really great interview. Well, that's cool.
This is from the Metroid, from the game that I played when I was a kid.
Okay.
It's this also glows in the dark, black light, so it lights up. One sec. What do I do with my black light pen? It's this one was an interesting one that I was doing, and if I could find what I was looking for. All right, let's do that here in a minute. Here's another one too. These are the 2 that I was just working on. This one for you, Alicia. It's this piece with the skulls and stuff, and it's like a guy dropping a lantern with this creature reaching at him.
That looks sort of like Lovecraftian right there, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to make it. I also have I have Lovecraftian writing on the sides for cryptography, because Alicia likes cryptography, so I have like a bunch of Lovecraftian stuff that I did on the side that she could sit there and try to decode.
Oh, I feel like I've actually passed a test right there. Jamie says that Banksy is crazy and she loves Banksy.
Yeah,
No
he's
mentions.
definitely strange.
Yes. The mystery is tremendous. The social context of the time makes it controversial. Jamie mentions some people just want to watch the world burn. Alfred in the Dark Knight. You know what? They can watch the world burn, but they can do it from their own house around them, not in front of anybody else. That's for sure. But you're right. They think they're being controversial. They think they're going to make a change. They're not. All they are is just terrorists. Snow says, "Well, if they throw soup on my art, I will set them on fire."
Professor Macabro.
Jamie says, "Sweet painting." And Snow has paid you a huge compliment. Cheetah's better than Van Gogh. And he can
Thank
hear
you.
me.
I don't know if I am. I was gonna say my favorite anime, because I saw the question come up. My favorite anime movie is probably one of the first ones I ever seen, which was Vampire Hunter D. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. Yeah, that's probably my favorite anime movie. TV series, I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
My favorite anime would probably be Akira.
Or like Dragon Ball Z, man. It's Dragon Ball Z at first.
No, hell no. Don't make me grab the soup can. That's right. Let's see. Snow says not lip service. That's awesome, Snow. She really means it. And then Snow mentions she loves Vampire Hunter D and D2 Bloodlust. Yeah.
D2 Bloodlust, yeah.
I actually found a copy of Vampire Hunter D at the library.
Really?
I found a copy. Yeah, I found a copy of it there. I was like, oh hell yeah. Yeah, some of the
old
things
school, man.
That's really old school. Now have you done any? What's coming up for you? I mean, I know it's the middle of the summer. Is there any street fairs coming up? Any art festivals coming up? Anywhere where
Uh,
you're any of your work's going to be showing?
um, there is a spot that I'm going to try to get into, which we have the fair coming up, and every time they have the fair, there's the art fair, to where there's this gazebo type area that we have set up, to where random people get to put all their art in there, and everyone gets to vote on who has the best art.
Okay.
And this year I plan on actually, because I've never done it, and
Oh,
I've had all of my family members and like other people been like, you need to put your art in here, so people could see it, and then like people will vote on it because you'll win. So they're saying, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'll win. And I never did it. So it's like, I kind of want to try it now. I want to test to see if I'll do well, and I kind of want to put it in there and just see it. I want a big piece though. So I want to fill up one of the big areas that they have so people can
I
see
can
the
tell you
big
right
piece.
now, speaking as someone who walked a lot of street fairs, I can tell you right now the piece that will get you the most acclaim, put cats in it. Like,
Cats. Yeah.
yeah,
People love cats, man.
people love
There's
cats.
whole channels dedicated just to cats online.
That's right. Have Cheetah will view. That's for sure. Uh, uh, but did you work in any other mediums though? Do you work with clay, or do you work with graphics? I mean,
I've done pottery. I've done pottery. Not in particularly like a lot. Like I remember back in like high school and stuff, I did good pottery. I did some interesting like pottery skulls, and my teacher thought it was like good. Like she gave me like a good grade on it. But it was like I was making a teacup kind of thing, but it was a skull, like out of it, and I was able to sculpt. Like I can do pottery. I've sculpted and carved wood. I can make wood totems and like pictures out of wood and stuff. Uh, let's see. I've done a lot of different other things. Miniatures. I don't know if you know that. I've made miniatures. I've made slimes and creatures and stuff like that myself. So I've
Okay.
molded them and carved them and cut them out. Like I don't know. I feel like I was like how my mother is. My mother's creative in a lot of different ways, to where she knows how to like design and create and like make stuff on her own. Like I learned that from her. I'm pretty sure. But
Which of those disciplines are the easiest to make on your hands? Which one's the easiest for you to work on?
me, nowadays, painting,
Meaning,
painting, and like drawing is a lot harder now.
mhm.
I'd say because like having a grip like on a pencil or a pen or something, like the pain comes from there. Like grabbing a paintbrush, I can hold a paintbrush like different. Like I hold it like lightly. I can just hold it lightly and go. Psh, psh, it's just easy.
Is that where you hurt your wrist from your art?
No, not from art. It's just seems to be some type of just a degenerative disease that's just naturally happening. They think it's from like maybe a bad liver or something, or they don't really know. Like that's the thing, is that like I've had a lot of blood tests, a lot of things run, and it just happens to just be naturally happening.
Okay.
And I don't know why, but other than that, yeah, it's like slowly taking away my grip, so I can't lift stuff as long, and I can't like grab like heavy stuff as well anymore. Like it hurts too much to grab. But yeah, I don't know.
The professor mentioned. So I take it that Cheetah is a fan of Taka.
On a mountain.
Amano?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I've watched a lot of different animes like from the past. Uh, I'd say that the ones that I was mainly into were the ones that came on at like 3 a.m. because I used to like go from hotel to hotel. Like I've used to live in like a lot of different states around the United States. And I've always been on the move, so I've always been moving and like just going around, and like I'd stay up to like 3 a.m. That's probably where it first started with me mentally. It was like I'd stay up 3 a.m. and I'd watch all the like the crazy reruns and like cartoons and animes and stuff that would come on. Any of the ones that used to come on at like 3 a.m. Those are the ones that I kind of liked watching. Teaching classes on how to do your art style. Me? Oh, I don't know if I could teach my art style. Like call me
Uh,
V. Yeah.
yeah, that would be interesting. Um, okay, folks, do you have any questions for our guest, Cheetah? Go ahead and drop your questions in the chat, and we will feed the questions on over to him. What do they tell you to do to help your wrist? Is there anything you can do to slow down this degenerative issue? Can you soak your
Um,
soak?
Mainly just eating a lot of vitamins. They want me to eat a lot of was it potassium? I need a lot more potassium.
More bananas.
Um, yeah, bananas, or just they said potassium pills, stuff like that. Like I need more iron, like a lot of different things. Because I also don't go in the sun a lot. As you can see, I'm just like a dude that sits and chills in the dark, or I just sit there and I paint all day.
Right. Yeah. You know what
Yeah.
though? Yeah, they're probably right. I don't get out as much as I should either. Yeah. So I can understand that. I can understand that. Um, Mr. Bones called you a vampire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. Snowman, you're a vampire hunter. D. More like vitamin.
Vitamin D. Hell yeah.
Now, do you have cats for pets?
I mean, yeah, we have two cats. Jinx, which is it's more of a bigger, I would say a tuxedo cat.
Okay.
Jinx, we have like a tuxedo cat, but it has like more finer long hair. I don't know what they're called. I forgot what kind of cat it is. And then we have a tabby, gray tabby cat.
Okay. Okay.
Lupin. My mom calls him Lupin, little Lupin, because he follows around her.
Yes, I'm investigating you. Yes. That's awesome. See, V mentions iron, meat, red meat. Yep, that'll get more iron.
Vitamin C, citrus,
Vitamin
yeah, it's
C,
like lemons, lime, stuff like that.
yep. Use it. UV lamp is not. If not, if you can't get outside, use a UV lamp. That's true.
Yeah,
Snow has a cat. That's awesome. Cats rule.
yep.
Uh, yep. All right then. Well, I tell you what, I want to thank you for coming out and hanging out with us. You guys, you were a fantastic guest, and the chat was really engaging and popping tonight. Thank you
Thank you
guys
for
all.
having me.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. This was a lot of fun. I'm glad that like I said, people were sending me messages saying when I was going to interview you. You know, the two cheetahs need to come together, and I'm so glad. I'm sorry it took so long, but I'm so glad that it did happen. And again, we put Mr. Bones has put in, and I'll do the same as well. We will put in we'll put it. Mr. Bones and we will be posting Cheetah's link to his Instagram page. We really need you guys all to not only go and follow the page, but it would be really cool if we all could come in there and help shout him out a little bit on his Instagram page. We know he does his YouTube page, but the Instagram page, I look at more as that's the place to go to display your art for people to notice it and to actually buy it. I think Instagram is
Okay.
probably the best place for you to do that, um, or Etsy or something like that. So go ahead and follow Cheetahs on Instagram. Shout out his channel, share it out, and of course share out this interview too, right? Uh, um,
Yeah.
share out this badass interview. I really do appreciate you coming out here and giving us your time, and
Thank you.
this was a lot of fun. Uh, Tomorrow night, I didn't even mention the calendar because we were already talking.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, I have scheduled Reverend Horace Sheffield will be here tomorrow. I'm not exactly I'm hoping against hope that it will happen. I'm holding my breath. I did not hear back from him today, but I do believe he will be here, and I'm looking forward to that tomorrow night. And then on Saturday at 3 p.m., I will be welcoming in Jennifer and Alan. They are the YouTube runners of Jennifer at Home, and they're a very sweet couple. Everybody should have a marriage like those two. Those two are such a wonderful couple. And that will be on Saturday at 3 p.m. Stay right where you're at, Cheetah, and to everybody else, thank you guys all for coming out and sharing this, and I appreciate it so much. And I guess at 10:05, the Echo side will be going on tonight. I'm not sure what Echo's doing tonight, but I do know there will be Echo side, and yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. And that'll be it for me. So thank you so much, and we will talk to you soon. Stay right where you're at, Cheetah, and everybody else. Good night.
Bye, everybody.